Han Li would never have imagined the fall from grace caused by the storm of exposure from a stolen bowl back then. He would have to suffer repeatedly. He thought that after breaking through the cause, his cultivation path would be smooth sailing. But never expected that even after reaching the true heart realm, he never had peace. Today, let's take a look at old Demon Han's 5 falls from grace and see which ones you know about. The first fall from grace, when the demonic path suddenly invaded. The Yellow Bee Valley where Old Demon was located was caught off guard. Spirit Fox Ancestor directly abandoned these low-level disciples as pawns. Han Li barely escaped and fled to Yuanwu country. Learned the method to repair the ancient teleportation array from Xianxia. Thinking of secretly returning to Yu country to escape via the teleportation array. But as soon as he returned, he encountered the demonic path chasing after Nangongwan. Without thinking, he stepped in to save her. But unexpectedly, Nangongwan's corpse poison instantly drained most of his cultivation, directly falling from the foundation establishment stage back to the qi refining stage. At that time, Han Li was completely stunned. Nangongwan asked him to wait at the Yanla sect, saying she would repay him after forming her core, but he refused. As soon as he turned to leave, he encountered Wang Chan's pursuit. With no choice, he had to risk his life and rush to the teleportation array, relying on the teleportation array to escape to the chaotic Star Sea. On Shaohuan Island, he spent 20 years recultivating, barely managing to return to the late foundation establishment stage. The second fall from grace, when Han Li finally cultivated to the nascent soul stage, became the supreme elder of Luoyun sect. But before he could act arrogantly for long, trouble arose. He was tasked with representing Luoyun sect in the border war. But the 4 elders of Yinluo sect took advantage of his absence, sneaked into Luoyun sect and cast the mad soul curse on Nangong. After Han Li returned, although he killed the 4 elders, he couldn't break the curse, so he had to set off to the Great Jin's Yinluo sect to seek a solution. While passing through Mulan grassland, his gold-devouring beetles were accidentally exposed. It turned out the gold-devouring beetles were the sacred insects of the Tufa tribe, instantly attracting the pursuit of the Tufa tribe. Han Li barely escaped the Tufa tribe's immortal masters, only to be surrounded by the Mulan sacred maiden along with 2 immortal masters and a sacred beast. After the fight, both he and Silver Moon were severely injured. They had to split up to barely escape. And he managed to capture the Mulan sacred maiden using the virtual heaven cauldron. But as soon as Silver Moon returned to his side, she fell into a deep slumber. Han Li himself was too injured to hold on, so he had to seal himself in ice and drift with the current. Eventually, he drifted to Great Jin and was saved by Chao Mengrong. By this time, his cultivation had fallen back to the core formation stage. After recuperating at the Chao family for a year, he slowly managed to restore his cultivation. The 3rd time his realm fell, over 800 years later. Han Li, who had already advanced to the nascent soul stage, experienced the most severe realm regression of his life, even directly reverting from a cultivator to a mortal. At that time, he planned to sneak into the Ling realm with the Ice Phoenix. But the 2 distrusted each other, and Lin Zongxian placed restrictions on each other, agreeing to lift them upon reaching the spirit realm. However, halfway there, they encountered a spatial storm, and the 2 were blown apart in different directions, while the restrictions in Han Li's body suddenly activated. To avoid being killed by the restrictions, he had to scatter 2 Yuan Ying's crystal cores into his body. Although he saved his life, he lost all his magical power, becoming immortal without any combat ability. And he had to lie low in the spirit realm for over 150 years to slowly recover. Only after cultivating the great city of the underworld Duke and lifting the restrictions did his origin power gradually recondense. But just as it recondensed, he encountered the spirit realm's heavenly festival. Fortunately, he was saved by Zhao Wuhui and 2 other Tianyan guards, allowing him to return alive to Tianyan City. barely escaping death. Marking the fourth time his realm fell. 300 years later, Han Li, who had just advanced to the early void refinement stage, suffered another setback due to a chaotic battle. At that time, he discovered two body integration stage cultivators outside his cave collecting mist chi. So he hurriedly fled, but on the way, he ran into the Horned race and the Sea King race, who were jointly attacking the Spirit race. And he was trapped by their blood sacrifice grand array. Han Li had no choice but to expend all his essence and blood to activate the Xianxia slashing spirit sword to break the array and escape. But he was sucked into a spatial rift and transported to the fire lake of the Thunder Continent. This escape left him severely injured, and his realm fell once again. Fortunately, he was rescued by the Fire Sheep tribe, and with their Liang divine pills, he slowly recovered. To repay their kindness, Han Li helped the Fire Sheep tribe eliminate a harassing Wulua tribe member, finally gaining a foothold in the Thunder Continent. The fifth time his realm fell, and the one that caused Han Li the most suffering was the fifth realm regression. This time, he not only lost his cultivation, but also 300 years of memories. At that time, he had just ascended to the Immortal realm and entered the early true Immortal stage. And while cultivating, the heavenly balance unconsciously emitted traces of time law aura, immediately attracting pursuit from Feng Pan and others. Han Li was no match for them. And in this battle, he lost his cultivation. The green bamboo cloud sword and other treasures were all lost. Xia Doran and the golden silkworm king were also missing, leaving only the instinct to protect the heavenly balance. And he lost 300 years of memories. From a revered monk to the naive brother Shirtua. Later he encountered Lu Lur, joined the Lingyan sect together with her, and after cultivating the micro-combat star employee technique to achieve a true-level body, he regained the ability to return to the Immortal realm for revenge. However, what exactly happened during those 300 years of amnesia was never clearly explained until the end of the Immortal realm arc, becoming a regret for many viewers.